Oh, I just tested different kinds of paint. That's cheap kid nail polish. That's like, I believe that was one of these paint markers. No. No, the red is one of the is from this marker set. The green is from the Winston's I've been using. This green here was a Sharpie, not a good idea. This was a Craft Smart paint marker. And this was like a Artist Loft paint. And I was really worried that because you use water to activate the clay and everything and to smooth it out, that when I put paint on it, it would do the same. Thank goodness it didn't. Now, this test piece, poor sad test piece, it snapped. But it ended up being great for testing what kind of paint I can use on this piece. This little cup here. I have no idea what I'm going to use the cup for, but it ended up, the snapped pieces made a great tester sheet for me. So, yeah. And in case you missed it, this is the clay I've been using. Natural modeling clay, which dries naturally. And I don't need to put it in the oven, thank goodness. I don't want to end up, putting something in the oven and then it breaking the oven because I don't have a spare. So, that's why I prefer to look at the air dry clay, not the cook dry clay, Anyway, so that's an update on this project. Have no idea what I'm going to do with this guy yet, but I want to make some more pieces as like crock charms, and if they don't work as crock charms, they'll end up being magnets. So, that's why I bought the clay. So, I'm going to try and make some more, but that's where this project is currently. And it seemed like the nail polish did a pretty decent job. The brownish there, that's like cheap kid kit that's like probably solid 8 years old nail polish. And it seemed to do a pretty decent job. Yeah, it's not very pigmented, but that's what you get with those kinds of kits. But anyway, so I can use paint markers, and I can use normal acrylic paint on this. Yay! Alright, so that's what it looks like currently. And don't put the texture, because that just ruins the, if I'm using like a paint marker, I can't do the texture design that I got from the gloves, because that's just going to ruin the marker I'm using. So, no texture. Alright. I can score the back of it because I won't be painting the back, but no texture. Or I'm gonna, and if I do use texture, don't paint it with paint markers. So that's what I've learned. But yeah, that is just the beginnings of my clay adventure kind of thing. So I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to comment, like, subscribe, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you for watching. So I've now used half of one package of this modeling clay I got from the dollar store, and I was like, really? It changes color? I was doubtful, but this is what it looks like when it's dry, and compared to where it's wet, it actually does. This was the first one I did today, and then I did a little pizza dash cake, whatever it turns out looking like there. So, oops. And the markers, because I was trying to see if Sharpies would work on this texture, but it just, no, Sharpies don't work. And it was just collecting pottery when I went to use Sharpies on it. So I had to like offload the Sharpie here. That's why there's a mark, because I was testing to see if Sharpie markers work. So I don't know if it's very obvious to you guys, but it has a big difference. Like, this is dry compared to the wet. Okay, I'll just... Now I did a little smiley face, a cat face, a minion, a little mushroom, which kind of looks like a paw print. Not intentional. I did a dice. I wanted to make sure the dice holes were deep. I did a fish. I did... This was originally going to be a cookie, but now it doesn't really look like a cookie, but... cookie. A little bear. A little flower. This, again, was supposed to be a cookie. And then this pizza or cake, depending on when it dries, how it looks. But that is my first attempt at sculpting with this dollar store clay, which is the natural clay or whatever that they sell at Dollarama. So that is where it's at now. It's very, very messy. I've just, like, grabbed my garbage bin and was, like, sweeping little pieces off into the garbage. But that is where all of these pieces are. This is just, like, extra stuffing. My mom had, like, bought herself a new purse, and she gave me the extra stuffing for a craft, and I ended up using it as a drawing sheet while I was using this as my, like, workplace. So, and this is a minion. It's upside down in the video, but whatever. And I tried to add hair, but it doesn't really work out that well. But I'll update you what these look like when they're all dry and everything. And I have scored the bottom of these, so... And I do have the proper tools to do so. However, I don't want to search through bins to get them, so I've been using a paper clip and the end of a cheap paintbrush to score, and then this paintbrush also helped me create the dots here, 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 there. So yeah, just using stuff around me to help me out there, because I don't want to have to go and grab, oh, that's from my blue light glasses. I don't want to have to, I do have the right materials, I'm just too lazy to grab them. But yeah, that's my dabble in sculpting with, like, pottery, natural modeling clay. This is what I have here. So that is after my dabble in it. So I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, and follow if you're watching this on TikTok. And I hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you for watching. So it's actually the 9th now, September 9th. And they're finally as white as this bowl here. So I'd say probably about 24 to 48 hours to have them dry out to this white color. And it just depends how... Sorry, my standing desk was complaining. It just depends how thick you make your sculpture. I think the thicker it is, the longer it'll take to dry out, because the smaller ones definitely turned white before these thicker ones, and these thicker ones were done first. So these will end up being like crock charms. This will be a magnet. This I'm not gonna put into a magnet or anything like that. It's just I want to make a dice. These here will be magnets because they're too large to be crock charms, but yeah, that's what they are. So this is my minion here. I just use like the backing of like some packaging to make the outline of the pocket and the groove symbol for that one. So yeah, that is the projects I made so far. And I do still have half of this done. So, half of this to work with. I hope it's still soft enough to work with. But I have 3 bags of clay like this, including that one. So yeah, now to paint them, but I don't know what I'm going to paint them as. I'm not sure what colors I'm going to use, not sure at all yet. Also, I don't have the croc charms yet, so I had them as a favorite on my list, so I'm hoping. But anyway, that is what my dabble in sculpting with like pottery clay is looking like so far on the 9th. So, hope you enjoy. And I hope that I don't ruin these when I go to paint them. But that's what they look like now. Don't know what I'm going to do with the dice, but that is where they are now. And I think the next half of the clay I'll use actual clay sculpting tools to do so. But that is it. So, hope you enjoy.